have a good day to all of us. By the way, I am Catherine Tampos, your next reporter. So this is the continuation of the report of Mr. Giovanni Nibla, and this report talks about the characteristics of Persian literature. So let's go on to the continuation of this report. So, Sufism influenced Persian poetry. It became a staple ingredient of Persian poetry. So much to that, ordinary terms become mystical and implication. So the question is, what is the importance of Sufism in a Persian literature? So, Sufism have an important influence of medieval literature, especially poetry that was written in Arabic, Persian, Turkic, and Urdu. Sufi doctrines and organizations provides more freedom to literature and the court poetry of the period. So, furthermore, Sufism important by educating the masses and deepening the spiritual concerns of the Muslims. Sufism has played an important role in the formation of the Muslim societies. So, with Sufism educated the masses of spiritual concerns of the Muslims. So, thematic substance of Persian poetry was love, wine, and enjoyment of life, but there is a forbidding sovereignness perceptible despite their seemingly Epicurean tendencies. So, when we say Epicurean, it is a disciple or a student students or a Greek philosophers. So, another question is, how did Sufism influence Persian literature? So, Sufism influenced Persian literature through their greatest contribution to Islamic literature. Is poetry beginning with the charming, short Arabic love poems, sometimes sung for a mystical concert, drama that expresses the yearning of the soul for union with the beloved. So let's go on to Nizami. So Nizami is the greatest poet of love and life in Persian literature. So in drama, Nizami is considered the greatest poet of love and life. So why Nizami considered the greatest poet of love and life? So, in romantic epic poet in Persian literature, Nizami brought a colingual and realistic style in the Persian epic. Unfortunately, Nizami is still sometimes represented as an Iranian poet in a certain academic circles, whether through ignorance or with deliberate intent. So, Nizami's also main poetic work for which he is best known is a set of 5 long narrative poems known as Kamza, the Quantit or Quanary, or a Fanj Gans, the 5 treasures or the Manzan ol Azrar, and the treasury or storehouse of mystery. So, in the golden age of Persian literature came to an end with Hami. Hami or Hami in 1414 to 1492, who is generally regarded as the last great classicist who excelled in a prose and poetry. So, Hami is the last great classicist who excelled in the prose and poetry. So, Hami wrote approximately 87 books and letters, some of which had been translated into English. His works range from prose to poetry and from mundane to the religious. He has also written works of history and science. Hami is a Persian scholar, mystic, and poet who is often regarded as the last great mystical poet of Iran. So, Hami has a great and a big contribution in a Persian literature, especially in a prose and poetry. The Savadis decline and the powerful impetus to the arts ceased. So, Sabafeds or Sabaved. So, Sabafed Persia, also referred to as the Sabafed Empire, was the one of the greatest Iranian empires after the 70th century. Muslim conquest of Persia, which was ruled from the 1501 to 1736 by the Sabafed dynasty. So, in the Sabafids' decline and the powerful impetus of the arts ceased, Sabafed is the first year of the 16th century. The Sabafids founded a dynasty that conquered what is now in Iran, restoring Persia as a major center of the political power and the cultural creativity. They also established one of the strongest and the most enduring centers of the Shiism of the Islamic world. So, Sabavids has the greatest contributions to the characteristics of the Persian literature. So, furthermore, the characteristics of Persian literature is it has a body of writings in a New Persia, also Modern Persia, the form of written language written since in the 19th century. It is comprises oral compositions and written texts in the Persian language, and poetry was regarded as the highest form of the artistic expression. So, in the characteristics of Persian literature, poetry was regarded as the highest form of artistic expression. That's all of my report. Thank you and Merry Christmas, everyone.